AI has been the trending topic of the year, but it's also been the center of major debate, with Washington stepping in to prevent the new technology from spiraling out of control. Our next guest recently penned his thoughts in an op-ed detailing his worries about AI innovation, saying that it's being driven by big tech right now, potentially leaving very little wiggle room for disruptive challengers in the space, and perhaps too much regulation from Washington could undermine open source AI, ending the collaborative model that spurred innovation in the first place. Let's bring in Revolution Chairman and CEO, as well as author of Rise of the Rest, Steve Case, to discuss more. Steve, always a pleasure to have you on here with us to get some of your insights. First and foremost, when you think about the innovation curve that we've seen with AI and how regulators, as you were bringing that into your op-ed as well, where they still need to wrap their minds around exactly what this technology means. How do you anticipate that for Washington, that's shown a lag in its own ability to understand the larger impacts or the revenue and profit models of some of these technologies, where they will start to take either preemptive action or whether they'll start to take any action at all?
Well, first of all, I think it is worth remembering that AI is not a particularly new technology. It's been around for a half a century. What's new is it's become much more popularized. The ChatGPT in particular kind of had an overnight success, almost a Netscape moment that we saw with the internet, where the internet was bubbling and suddenly things accelerated. And the good news, I was yesterday at the Senate as part of the AI forum that Leader Schumer and a number of other senators have put together in a bipartisan way. And we spent 3 hours talking about the issues, both the opportunities for AI as well as some of the risks. So I really think it's great that we are seeing that engagement from policymakers in a collaborative, bipartisan way to understand what the technology is, what positives can come out of it, but also understand some of the risks and try to get to a balanced approach where there's decent regulation to make sure that the good things happen, the bad things don't happen. Probably not the light touch we saw in the early days of the internet, but hopefully not the heavier touch that we're seeing talked about in Europe. We just got to get the right balance here in the United States so we can continue to lead it. We can lead the AI revolution just as we led the internet revolution.
And Steve, speaking of that balance, which is so important, obviously you want to foster creation and innovation. You also want to implement the appropriate guardrails necessary to have in place, obviously, to thwart some of the threats that we've been talking about when it comes to AI. From the conversations you were having yesterday with your peers, with lawmakers, how confident are you that the U.S. is on the right track in addressing the necessary issues that need to be addressed in order for AI really to continue to grow and us focus on the positive impact it's going to have moving forward?
Well, a lot of the discussion yesterday was recognizing that it is obviously an important foundational technology. The U.S. has some advantages, but China has invested very, very heavily. So if we want to win what's now this global battle, we need to make sure that we're making the right moves. And that's why one of the things we did talk about yesterday, I called for, but others did as well, making sure that this is a more distributed innovation, not just the big tech companies getting bigger, but we're opening this up to lots of startups in lots of parts of the country. There was a fair amount of unanimity around that view. The last session they had, the first AI forum just about 6 weeks ago, it was the bigger tech companies, and they were talking about some of the risks of AI, particularly the risks of open source. I think yesterday was much more in favor of more open source, in favor of more open access, in favor of more open innovation, which I thought was quite encouraging. Also, a lot of focus around the need for immigration reform. This is a battle for talent. How do we win that battle for talent? A lot of focus around regional expansion. The Tech Hubs program was launched by the president just earlier this week on Monday, 31 tech hubs. How do we build on that as part of the AI kind of response? So I thought it was a conversation that covered a lot of ground. A lot of people had different, varying views, and that's exactly what we should be doing at this stage, having all those ideas on the table as Congress tries to wrestle with us. And again, maximize benefits, make sure America continues to lead in this new technology, but also understand and try to mitigate some of the risks.
We've heard kind of the narrative, or at least how AI has been painted as a potential co-pilot, or and generative AI specifically presented as this co-pilot, or even as an ability to make sure that there is productivity that is enhanced as well. But when you think of the ultimate determining factor of how successful generative AI is, what would that be from your perspective?
really getting AI integrated into sort of key industries, the healthcare, the financial services, education. That can be reimagined using AI, technology. We're already seeing this. Again, it's not something that's futuristic. We backed a company in Chicago called Tempus that's using AI and genomics to diagnose more precisely cancer, and so they can have a more precise treatment. They just launched about 8 years ago. They have 2,000 employees. They're saving lives because of AI. AI is also being used by a number of players as sort of a tutor to help people learn about things in a much more personalized kind of way. So it's not thinking of this as a technology off on the side, kind of like the internet was. It's a technology that really can be a platform for innovation across many aspects of our lives: how we learn, how we stay healthy, how we move around, how we invest, and how using these new technologies coupled with other technologies to enable that kind of innovation. And that's what a lot of the focus was on yesterday, kind of pointing out some of the, the real benefits that AI can provide if America continues to lead and we do it in a more inclusive way, which ties in with our work around Rise of the Rest. How do we not just make sure that, the investments are going to places like Silicon Valley, the investments are spread more broadly. And as I said, the Tech Hubs program launched on Monday is an important step forward.
Steve, when you talk about the need here for high-tech talent, the competition, what's necessary in order for the U.S. in order to continue to grow, very important, and also lay the foundations for the next wave of technology, where does that stand? And I guess, what do you think are some of the adjustments that need to be made in order to make sure that we do have access to the high-tech talent that's necessary to foster that innovation?
We're not in good shape, to be honest. I was glad it became a major topic yesterday. I actually testified in the Senate 10 years ago on immigration reform and the need to win this global battle for talent. We have not made progress. We've reversed ourselves. It's become harder to come to this country. It's harder to stay in this country. And some of the people that wanted to stay here, wanted to build here, wanted to create jobs here, have left and gone to other places. So putting more of a spotlight on that. Obviously, immigration is complicated issues. There are issues with the borders, an issue with dreamers, but particularly around the issues around high-skilled immigration, and in this case, particularly around kind of people focused on AI. We need to make sure we're a magnet for those people and they want to build here. Otherwise, we do run the risk of losing the lead we have in AI and losing our lead as the most innovative entrepreneurial nation. So hopefully, even though it's a sensitive political topic and a multifaceted topic, hopefully people can come together and Congress can pass sensible immigration reform that positions us for this next wave of innovation, including in AI.
Steve, always great to get your insights. Steve Case, Revolution Chairman and CEO, also author of Rise of the Rest. Thanks so much, Steve.
Thank you.